trying to make it not be on, and I'm on your iPad trying to make it like get a bunch of like WWF wrestling things, so
So that I can not watch those later, but everything on my feed is WWF.
Because I figure you're gonna
the
really
real
want
reason the Iron Sheik retired.
you're gonna want to know what
he
the
was
Von
1,000
Erichs
years
are
old.
up to.
Oh
these
yeah,
days.
yeah, the Texas tornado.
Are we going?
Yeah.
Wow, so we're live. Hey everybody, it's Matt, and we're at Texas Toast Guitars, and it's my birthday today.
It is Matt's birthday. Congratulations.
I'm 102 years old today. I'm not that old, but let me just tell you, during the course of human events for the last week, I feel old. I think we need to readjust the camera.
Oh
boy.
crikey.
So anyway,
Give me a second.
thanks everybody for joining us. Chris is gonna
I'll
suss
adjust
this
it.
out.
I
Mrs.
got
Toast
it.
is helping, and yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. We're just gonna go with it. We're live at 5. This is our weekly live stream that we do once a week, no matter what we're doing. We drop everything at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, and we hang out with you guys who are cool enough to come hang out with us. Yeah? That's about right, yeah?
Yep, it is.
Okay. So,
Lots of birthday wishes.
thanks everybody for the birthday wishes.
How old are you this year, Matt?
I'm 49 this year.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you get to, I got a birthday wish from my friend Carol Ann, and she said that at a certain age you just stop giving a shit about things or something like that.
Are you at that point with birthdays?
Yeah, probably.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't give a toss about.
Yeah?
You know, it's not that. It's just another day.
You're not really a birthday kind of guy?
No, but I am the birthday boy today.
Today, yeah. And well, it's kind of nice when
Yeah.
people acknowledge that it's your birthday, right?
Sure. Chris brought me some beer on my birthday.
And some cookies.
And they're good too.
No, mostly for me.
They're like muffin tops almost.
Yeah, really, I thought, this doesn't look like a cookie. This looks like,
They're like cake.
yeah, bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With chocolate and
Yeah,
pumpkin. They were
chocolate
good.
chip.
You were gonna try to give me a
bread.
birthday cake that said "Happy Birthday, Dickweed,
Dickhead. And they wouldn't do it. So then I said, well, how about happy birthday, fuckface?
They wouldn't do
They
that.
wouldn't do that either, so I just bought cookies.
What a jip.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Parsons saying nice choice of beer,
Does Chris? Oh, are you
I'm
mine or
thinking it's-
Chris's? Yeah.
but it's cider.
No, it's beer, but it has
Apple
apple stuff in it. It's
Red
actually
Stripe.
really good.
It's beer.
Yeah, crisp, semi-sweet apple blonde ale with the dry finish.
Oh, I want to taste your backwash.
Yeah, good
You want
idea.
this or you want?
No, I'll take your backwash.
So everybody who's watching at home, and I hope you're having a great November 17th. Yesterday was my grandfather's birthday, and it was also Monkey's birthday. So
Happy 12th birthday to Monkey.
Happy 12th birthday to Monkey. My grandfather is no longer with us, but he was on a B-17,
Yeah.
which makes me actually somebody sent me a thing. Hey, what's up with the Mike Learn paint job? And he said that his dad or his grandfather was on a B-17. He just thought the whole plane motif was cool. So we're actually working on that, but we're going to get to that a little bit more later. Why we didn't work on that last week. Excuse me. To my right, your left, of course, is Chris, who is hanging out and doing some karate.
I got a different shirt on. It's
Hey,
not
man.
a new shirt.
Remember
but
we
it's
were
not the other shirt.
We were doing that thing where like Elvis, we were talking about the
Tiny
Elvis. No, the Elvis karate video where he like had some sparring partner that Elvis paid to like get his ass kicked by Elvis. All right, man, come at me with fuck that knife. I got a red belt. It's better than a black belt. And didn't you say you had like some whole Elvis thing about like who taught Elvis?
Yeah, so
Karate?
it was Dave Parker's Kenpo Karate.
Man, I studied with Dave Kempo Karate.
Dave Parker, man.
And was it
And
Rex
yeah.
Kondo?
It wasn't Rex.
I think it almost
Kondo.
was though. I don't know. I don't know enough
It's
about
so
karate to
funny.
be able to tell. But
If you guys do like a YouTube search for Elvis doing karate, it's you'll see the video. It's funny.
yeah, and Elvis was taught by Dave Parker. I think it's Dave Parker. I'm going with.
Watch
Dave
out,
Parker.
man! I was taught by Dave Parker,
I
Kempo
think-
Karate.
I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That was
and
Bruce Lee.
Dick Dale.
Was Bruce Lee studied? Or
Okay. He might
Kareem
have-
studied with Bruce Lee. I know.
Okay.
And was actually in Game of Death.
Yeah,
The movie.
I did know that. Yeah.
I'm sure Kareem could study with whoever. The
And
fuck
both
he
Elvis
wanted.
and Dick Dale had the Kenpo, the Parker. Kenpo
Watch out, man!
karate
I'm gonna do the tiger
signal.
claw on
Yeah.
you. So anyway, so Chris is here, and I am so happy that my wonderful
Want
wife,
the rest?
Mrs. Toast, is here with us.
No.
She was absent last week. I forget you were busy doing something last. I can't remember what it was.
No, I was just wicked tired.
Oh, she was just wicked tired. So anyway, Mrs. Toast is here again tonight, and that's very, very cool. She came up and she made breakfast for me today, and coffee, and yeah, it was a great day all around. I just kind of dicked around at home until like about 1:30.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen him that much, like combined in the last 2 years.
Yeah, normally on my birthday I just want to work in the shop, but this year I wanted to work in the shop and watch Killing Them Softly with Brad Pitt, which I didn't realize I missed that movie, and now that I've watched it, I'm like, oh, that's why I
What
missed
movie?
It. Killing Them Softly. Brad Pitt's a hitman.
And the James Gandolfini.
James
dude,
yeah, he's a hitman. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not good.
it's craptastic. But
Okay.
anyway,
Well, there you go.
so anyway, yeah, it's my birthday today, and thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. That's awfully nice of you. But what we really want to talk about today is, I mean, we can probably forego all the, so what have you been doing this week, Chris? Because I know.
Well, I went and looked at a really kick-ass 93 Buick Park Avenue Ultra today. It has a supercharger.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
How fast you supposed?
For real.
Did you drive
Not
it?
that fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it
But
weighs
it's
a
peppy,
lot. Okay.
but not that fast.
Huh. Right.
93. That's not that old, is it?
Yeah.
It's 26 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some friends of mine sent me pictures from bands that we were in high school, and I'm like, those were good times. Wow, that was a long time ago.
You were skinny.
I was skinny. Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. So, Mrs. Toast, what's been going on lately?
Work.
Work. Chris, what have
Seven
you been?
people's second blood. That's about it.
Yep.
Work.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Mrs. Toast is actually a vampire in her day job. Okay?
That's why I work in the basement.
That's why she works in the basement. There's no daylight gets in there.
Well,
So,
what's the topic today?
the topic today is it's Matt's birthday, and the real story, what is it?
The real truth about the build your own guitar class.
The real truth. Okay,
Gonna
so
give away all the dirty secrets.
you guys just want to jump in? We're only 7 minutes in. Can't we vamp for like 3 more minutes and get,
maybe other stuff will come up. Maybe we can talk about
Well,
some stuff
somebody
on the back
asked-
end.
Oh, Shoemaker. Whatever happened with the cloud guitar?
Oh, the Prince Cloud guitar. That's one of those guitars that
That started right at the wrong moment in time.
started precisely the wrong time and it's not really for anybody. It's just kind of a Matt project that I want to do as I get free time. And as you guys all know, I have so little free time to do kind of goof around guitars. So like that's why the EBO doesn't have a video. The Prince Cloud. These are all things that need to kind of get shoved to the front, but I'm afraid we'll just be pushed to the back for quite a while. I wish I had something better to tell you all, but that's all I got.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. So,
We would make that guitar look like a ukulele too.
yeah, the Prince Cloud guitar template is certainly very small. Not
I
that
think-
now Shoemaker has a really cool custom telly that he's making right now that looks a lot like the Prince's Hohner.
Yeah.
Or was it a Hohner or a Hofner?
It was a.
I think it was a Hohner.
I think it was a Hofner.
Well, Thad, if you're watching and you don't have a migraine, let me know.
He is watching because he's been.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna give some answers to some questions.
Yeah, let's throw them out there.
$134,000,
Yeah.
$1,300.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay, there you go. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
All right, so have we vamped long enough we can start? Because
Sure.
we've got a lot of stuff to cover talking about the class. You guys, there's a lot of class stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want to tell you guys all about the class and some of the notes that I took, and we're going to go right down the list here of what happened on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yada, yada. And we're going to answer your questions. We're going to
Hohner.
talk about the guy. Is it a Hohner?
I don't know.
Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, that says Hohner.
Okay, so let's just jump right into last week. We had
I gotta stop.
Okay, all right.
'cause this is funny.
Okay.
You know, people that have birthdays around this time of year means your parents had a good Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's birthday is 9 months before.
They do
I
a
was
lot
born,
of
so
yeah.
exactly the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it took me. Luckily, it only took me like 30 years to figure that out.
Okay.
But once I did, then I was like, ugh. So yeah,
You know, people do it,
they do.
and
Yeah.
you know they sometimes they actually do it for recreation, and sometimes they do it for procreation.
Well, I think
No,
it was.
mostly it's recreation.
Mostly for
Procreation
recreation,
is like
yeah.
a
Whoops.
chance of a side effect, like
It's not like when lions do
like
it.
anal leakage or
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the Joe Rogan thing about lions doing it?
no.
There's no like the female lion isn't like, oh my god, what's that smell? Is that me? I'm just gonna see if I can like do something to get him to think it's not me. Oh, you're so good. And the male lion's just like, and yeah, you know, thousands of years of DNA just like, so yeah, Joe Rogan's funnier than me.
Oh
So.
my god. What is wrong with you? Holy
Nothing,
shit.
everything. Can we talk about the class now? Or is there any
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
things
there's
that you guys
questions
want?
about how many fingers were lost and did anybody fail and
Okay, everybody who came to, I'll answer all these questions, and we're gonna deep dive into the class. Nobody bled on my shop. There were 3 safety rules. One safety rule was all tools are always on, not treat all tools as if they're always on, because that would mean that some tools are not on. It also doesn't mean that I leave all the shit running, but all tools are always on. All tools are always dangerous, and all tools always want to cut you.
just like
Those are
all
the 3
guns are
rules.
loaded.
No, that's rule
That's
one.
rule 1.
Rule number 2: if you don't feel good about doing something, don't do it. Chris or I would walk in and we would step in and give you a hand with that. Rule number 3: do not bleed on my shop. It's as simple as that, people. Now, there was more deep dive into safety than that, but specific to tools and things. But the fact of the matter is that woodworking is not something to be taken lightly, and all of these things, all of these tools are potentially very dangerous and deserve your respect. If you don't give it to them, they will demand it from you. They will take it.
Pretty
So,
much all the tools in here are older than anybody else in here. So
some
you
of them are
should have your
new,
respect
but yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So nobody lost any fingers. Nobody bled on my shop, and to the guy, nobody felt uncomfortable doing what we were doing. And when we get down to it, they even used some tools that you might not expect people to use at a beginner level or essential level woodworking class, right?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so what was the other question?
Safety third.
Safety third. Yeah, no, safety was absolutely paramount. Let me tell you guys something. Chris will tell you how he felt, but at the end of every day, I was positively spent. I was fucking exhausted at the end of every single day. And the guys came in and they were super enthusiastic every day. Like, the class didn't start till 10. They all showed up. Well, one guy showed up like he was waiting for me when I got here. And they all came in early and they were all raring to go first thing in the morning. And the guys, so we had three students for the inaugural class. We had Tom from San Antonio. We had Daryl from
Who?
Daryl.
Who?
Daryl, not Doyle. Daryl from Ellsworth, Daryl from Washington. Place that starts with an E, and it escapes me right now. And we had Alec, who right now lives in Denver. The guys were all super cool. Now, not everybody sat around and drank with us, but Tom drank with us every night. So, so he made up for everybody else who didn't want to, who was too tired to stay and drink with us.
Well, Daryl
Mm-hmm.
and his wife came out here on vacation, so they had to spend a little time with
That's
his honey bunny.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so they stayed in Old Town Arvada. They went to some swanky places, and I hope that everybody had a good time. We pushed them really hard. And Chris rode herd on everybody. So were you tired at the end of every day?
Yeah, I was, and you're better at hiding it than I am, I think, as far as that day. So right around 3 o'clock
Yeah.
every day, all of a sudden I'd be like, oh man, why am I so tired? So,
Yeah.
but usually I can get tired, but I'm not just totally wasted. And there was one night where I went home and like by 8 o'clock I was like,
Wednesday night was the
I'm,
worst.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
It might have been
Wednesday night was a killer, y'all.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And I just and and the other thing was every night then I slept and I kept sleeping later and later too. And I wanted to be here early and 9 turned into 9:30 and that turned into 9:45.
But what happened though was that all the guys wanted to get here earlier.
Yeah.
So like day one, I got up at 5.
Yeah.
I hit the treadmill. I did push-ups. I didn't do that shit
For the rest of
on
the week.
Tuesday. Yeah. And the guys started coming in. They're like, well, if you're going to be here at 9, I'm going to come in. Okay. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit about. I've made a schedule here that we
On your
followed.
syllabus.
Yes, there's a syllabus and an itinerary, if you will, and we followed this pretty much to the letter. So let me tell you guys what we did on Monday, and then we're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about what we did. Okay.
Okay.
So Monday was meet and greet, introduction, shop tour. We took a look at everyone's hardware and parts, made sure they had all the shit they needed to have. We did a quick shop tour. We did a body and headstock design and layout. We talked about woods and we talked about grain orientation. We talked a little bit about tone woods. We did a safety lecture and tool familiarity with what we were going to use that day. The guys rough cut out their bodies. They rough cut out their headstocks. They sorted out the edge work on the edge of the body and the headstock. We cleaned up and we talked a little bit about what we did that day because I believe that today you should be able to kick yesterday you's ass. You know what I mean? So it's like let's talk about what we learned today and what did you guys get out of, the whole what did you get out of today? And if are there any questions let's talk about them. So day one was awesome and all the guys used the bandsaw and no issues there. Maybe some they weren't like, whipping through like lightning, but they were, they did real good. There's no safety issues. Everybody had a different shaped body.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of thinking there'd be a couple strats and like a Chapman stick shape or something,
Would you have let that happen if somebody said, I want to cut this out as a straight stick?
Sure, why not? What?
I was hoping somebody'd want to make a Bo Diddley square guitar.
Sure.
Just to be a jerk.
So everybody had the same bridge and everybody had the same pickups and everybody had the same neck pocket and they left here with a guitar that was operational and 5 days
sounded
worth
good.
of learning. They
I'd say
sounded
more
good.
than operational.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah,
sounded
they were
good.
real
Pretty
live
solid
guitars.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a template that they used while they were here. They can take home and use at their home shops. So whatever the home shops are.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. So we had Tom made a version of a Guild Polaris, which is kind of an SG kind of shape. Alec made a version of the Hamer Californian shape, which turned out good. And Daryl made a Challenger actually, but he used more of a roundover than. So Mrs. Toast might know it as the Bean. He basically
I love
made the bean.
I
Yeah.
love the
He
bean.
did make
a
bean.
Flicking the bean.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
a beautiful guitar. It's sexy as hell. It's a full-figured girl.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Thought I was
and
further into that beer than I was. I just spilled all over myself.
and everybody had a different headstock too. Everybody kind of tweaked their headstock how they wanted it. One thing that we started out with, everybody got a really great body blank of Swamp Ash from Dan at Guitar Wood Experts. And I feel like it's time, if you guys are having trouble contacting Dan at Guitar Wood Experts, for one thing, let me know and I will get Dan's mobile number to you. Dan is fully operational at Guitar Wood Experts, but their website is not because of, yeah, thank you. What did you get?
Should address that one.
Sounds like you were saying those guitars they built were okay, Gonzo 59. Why would you say that? Why would you say
what
that's
he's
a
saying-
dick move? Yeah.
No, I don't think it's a dick move by him. What I think he's saying is, and we I thought their guitars were great. You thought their guitars were great. We're hoping they thought their guitars were great.
Yeah.
We don't want to assume.
What's
they
wrong
thought
with
their
saying you
guitars
got a
were
fully
great.
operational guitar when it was done? It was the color that you wanted and the shape that you made. They were fucking cool guitars,
They
man.
were.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So
You know.
So yeah. To be clear, we don't think their guitars were pieces of shit.
I at no
actually
point did
thought
I
they
ever
turned out-
say that.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I think he was inferring, but we're not saying that. So.
No.
So anyway, no, I thought everything turned out better than I was expecting in every way.
Oh
To be
yeah.
honest with
yeah.
you.
Yeah. The guys all did great. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. So all right, good.
Moving on.
Move on.
didn't I already say too that everybody that came to the class did an awesome job?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck is this guy? Oh, whatever.
No, I don't
All right,
don't get
there's-
wound
yeah.
up.
Yeah, all right. Too late.
Just relax. You're both pretty girls.
I don't think he was. I think he heard
I'm-
something that you didn't say.
Perhaps I'm taking it the wrong way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think everyone's taking it
If
from
I
the-
The
am,
reason that I had you
Yeah.
address that was because I didn't want other people thinking
No,
that same
no,
thing.
no, no,
If
no,
one guy
no.
thinks that that's okay. If more than one thinks it, no.
yeah.
So anyway, let's keep going.
All right. Where are we at now? Are there any questions about day one so far?
No girls?
No girls.
No, it's funny though. Tom's, Tom didn't have a PayPal account, so his wife paid for it, and I'm like, hey, someone named Candy's coming to the class, and it turns out Tom was coming, but yeah,
Because he doesn't have a PayPal.
he just
so-
didn't have a PayPal
Did
yet.
his wife's PayPal.
So yeah,
Well, she did.
Tom is going to start a guitar company called Rock Candy Guitars, and they're going to be out of San Antonio, Texas. Tom and I actually went to one of the things that we wanted to do was have a field trip to the hardwood store, but we started early and we went late almost every day. There was no time to dick around and spend an hour and a half going to the hardwood store. So Tom, actually, I threw this out there. If anybody wanted to go on Saturday, I would go with. And Tom took me up on the offer. He actually bought a radio alarm saw from someone in the neighborhood. And then he and I went to Paxton Lumber in Denver. And as it turns out, Tom, if you are watching, there's a Paxton in San Antonio. You probably already know that, but we didn't know that then. He was like, I'm having trouble finding woods. So, mostly because hardwood stores it's not like you like type in hardwood, it's a bunch of flooring stuff that comes up. It's not necessarily for furniture guys. You know what I mean?
Something I've noticed recently too is we've all become so accustomed to Google giving us the exact answer that we want.
You're not listening to what I mean.
Hard to
Yeah.
And so you Google hardwood, San Antonio,
Yeah.
and a bunch of floor places show up, and you go, oh, there's no place that sells hardwood in San Antonio when there is.
I would
so you
think
gotta
that if there was a Paxton in
rethink.
San Antonio, that would be the first one that would come up.
You would think,
he found
but-
one. So here's what happened. We were talking with Tom, and he's like Googling hardwood in San Antonio, and he finds one. It was like, I don't know, let's say Alamo hardwoods. It might have even been that. And he starts reading the description, and he's like, we've got everything from plywood to zebra wood. And Chris goes, if they've got zebra wood, it's not a flooring store. So,
That's your place.
That's
Call
where you
them and
go.
ask them.
Yep.
If they don't have what you want, they'll know who does.
Yep.
And I think that's the old way that you would have done it. You would have been like, well, I heard about this place that has wood. I'm gonna call them and see what
gonna
they
go
have,
check
or
it
I'm gonna
out.
go down there and talk
Yeah.
to them. And
Yeah.
we forget to do that kind of stuff now.
Yeah.
So
anyway, did I? If anyone's got any questions about what's going on with Guitar Wood Experts, send me an email and I'll give you Dan's mobile number. They're ready to go. Their website's there was some snafu with the website. I never go on the Guitar Wood Experts website. The GW website is like it's hard to stay current. So I just call Dan. So if you guys want something from Dan, just call Dan. Any questions so far?
Well, James Severin
Uh-huh.
is suggesting that you need a birthday shot of whiskey, which I don't think you want, and that I should get it for you because I'm your booze wench or something. I'm just making. Now I'm just stirring the pot.
I think he says Mrs. Toast.
Maybe
Oh,
Mrs. Toast.
Toast.
needs it.
Matt needs a birthday shot of whiskey. I think just because you're off camera, you're the most accessible to get it.
There was a
I'm just
time.
fucking around, man.
There was a time not too long ago when I actually I was out with Chris and Mrs. Toast. We were at a Mexican restaurant, and it was a Thursday night, and I was feeling good, And I'm like, every night's Friday night, every morning's Monday morning. And so we drank tequila, and I got way too drunk. I woke up in the next morning and hit the treadmill and promptly vomited all over. It was a bad scene. I'm not young enough to do shots of hard liquor
I remember
anymore.
going out for like a week and a half straight and then having to take a night off.
Yeah.
Now I go out one night and
Yeah,
need,
I had to take
4
a
nights
week
to
and a half
recover,
off.
You know, and then I can't even think about it. I don't even want to. No, I
Mhm.
just finally got my sleep schedule right. I just finally feel human.
Mhm.
Talk to me in a week.
Yeah. So does anyone have any questions about what?
Were all the dudes in the class first timers?
I think so.
I would say, yeah.
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 You know, they had so a couple of guys were tool guys. So like for example, Tom was an aircraft mechanic in the Marine Corps, and Daryl was
And he's
an
been playing
electrician.
around with, and he's been playing around with,
Yeah.
with
Some
the idea of
woodworking.
guitar building
Yeah.
and some wood and some tools.
This was
for a
kind of
little
a
while.
he's ready to jump in face first, and this was a great way to
Mhm.
get your
Yeah.
whole body wet, not just
Yeah.
So that's the thing. These guys did so much stuff in 5 days, y'all. It wasn't like you get to cut out the body and here's a neck and you bolt it on and put it together. No. We're gonna get to it. So Tuesday, everybody got to use my beloved pin router. If you come to a class that we put on in the future, you'll get to use my beloved pin router too. Chris, why did we decide to use the beloved pin router?
One of the things that we talked about during this was it's not enough for these guys to come out of here with a cool playable guitar. We also want this to be an experience, and we want it to be fun. And everybody loves the pin router and
Yeah.
loves the idea of the pin router, so we thought we'd give everybody the opportunity to use it, whether it was just for a minute.
Yep.
Or whether it was for as much as we could let them do on it.
Which was a ton, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
it was
and-
way more than a minute.
And so, yeah, and we thought, you know, in some ways, the guitar that you build, we don't want it to be secondary, but if it is secondary to the experience of coming into the shop and having fun and learning stuff.
The real product is being here for 5 days.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, the guitar that you walk out with is neat, but we actually
And it's a
equated
product
that
of the 5 days, but
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that you couldn't take those skills and move on. But we didn't just want
Precisely.
it to be.
That's the
We
thing,
didn't
yeah,
want
you
it to
should-
just be. You know, we didn't want it to be all about that end result. We wanted it to be about some fun stuff. It was light. It was fun. We all
Yep.
worked super hard.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, and everybody wants to use the pin router. Why would you not? If you watch this channel,
People here want to use the pin.
yeah, if you watch this channel, you want to use the pin router.
Come to the Build Your Guitar class.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you'll get to use it for a lot, because I think
Yeah.
each guy got to use it for
They did
like
they
an
did,
hour, and that's a ton
They
of
did
pin
neck
routing.
pockets, pickup routes for 2 pickups, control cavity,
Mm-hmm.
and something else. I can't remember what.
Yeah, the only thing we didn't do that we could have done is like outlines of bodies. We could have done that,
Yeah, we didn't do that.
but we
with the
didn't.
pin router.
But everything else they did, and everybody did
Yeah.
awesome at it, and I think that was a highlight.
And I asked the guys, okay, guys, we're going to use the pin router mostly because you want to use it and because it's safer than a regular handheld router. And I said, guys, if you have a router at home and you want to get good or practice with a hand router, you're certainly welcome to do it, or you can use the pin router. Oh, by the way, it's faster too. Yes, ma'am.
Just really quick, I just want to address a few questions
Yeah.
rapid fire before you get on with the syllabus. There's some questions about how guys were able to, did they paint, were they able to do their finish? We're going to get to that when we get
Yeah.
further down the syllabus. Any odor issues, again,
Yep.
that we
for
addressed,
people
okay?
or paint?
Yeah,
The
well,
answer is no on
farting,
both.
I don't know.
I wore deodorant every
wasn't
day.
here. What kind of snacks were provided? Well, there was lots of snacks. It was the week after Halloween, so don't expect that next time.
We actually ordered pizza. We ate fairly
Had a
well.
lunch and learn with Mike Learn.
Yep,
yeah,
we'll get to that.
And then was Mrs. Toast or disappointed that she didn't get to take the guys out one night? Well,
Oh,
yes,
that's
yes. I'm very
right.
disappointed.
Yeah, nobody was up to going out to Mrs. Toast's kick and stab joint bar that she likes to go to.
There's a handful of kick and stab joints.
I
Like,
know,
if you don't
right?
like one, we can go a block away, and there's another.
Yeah,
one.
there's kick and stab joint row. It's sort of like the extra seedy version of Broadway in Nashville of kick and stab joints that Mrs. Toast likes to go to on Lowell.
The music isn't as
The
good.
music kind of sucks.
Other than that,
yeah, other than that, yeah.
way.
If there's
way
anyone
more
throwing a
kicky and
hatchet, it's not
stabby.
for for some kitschy reason.
Okay, and we'll also be talking about the next scheduled class and cost and all that at the end of the.
Yeah,
semester.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
Okay, so
okay.
Alright.
let's move forward. So on Tuesday they did neck routing, pickup routing, control cavity routing, bridge mounting and string through holes, rough sanding, finish sanding, cleanup and after action report. So we already talked a little bit about. I'm sorry, after action discussion. This is the after action report right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was right around this time when I was actually talking with Brian Nutter, who was at the Musicians Institute of Nashville, and he was totally into what we're doing. And I said, hey, man, I talked with Mike Learn today. He's going to come out tomorrow and give a lecture. Would you like to ever come out? Maybe we can make that happen for future classes where Brian Nutter can come out and guest lecture and kind of help out. He's like, absolutely. He would love to do that. So maybe in the future, guys, we can have, we're lucky enough to have Mike Learn be right down the road. Brian Nutter, of course, is how many miles away? 2,000?
No.
100 million miles away.
1,200?
Brian Nutter is okay. Yeah, that I was thinking. He's in Nashville. We're in
think.
Colorado. But maybe we can make that happen, guys. I don't know how we would do it.
Public education let us both down on that question.
But I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far is it from Nashville to Denver? 7,000 miles.
How far is it to the moon? 7,000 miles. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway,
It's 268,000 miles. No, 237,000 miles.
it's a long way. All I know is it's a
the moon.
it's a drive
Not
that will
Nashville.
try a man's soul to drive to Nashville from Colorado, right?
I've recently seen a thing where people talk about how many miles they have on their car,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can put the number of miles that it takes to get to the moon on your car, you're probably doing pretty well.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
think it's 230.
Okay.
Something, I think.
Cool.
Anyway,
So, so everybody got to use the pin router, and to the guy, I'm like, does anyone want to use a regular hand router? And they're like, no, because as Chris was pointing out, the product that we're really selling here is the 5 days that you get to spend here with us, and the education's kind of expensive. There's no kind of education's expensive, and you should leave here with the knowing of how to build a guitar. Now, if you want to come here and pay us class money to have us make you something, we'll be happy to do that.
sit around and talk to us.
Sure, you can even sit here and drink beer with us all day.
Yeah,
we
we'll
don't
give you
care.
some. We'll give you some safety gear, and you
Mm-hmm.
can stand right in the sawdust.
Yep, you can get
direction
you
that
can
you
get
want.
all dusty if you
Yep.
want.
Yep.
Okay, are we ready to? Are we moving for? Is there anything else that we
Yeah.
need to?
No, it's lots of good conversation.
Cool. Guys, I cannot stress enough how much fun I had and how excited I was to have everybody come and hang out in my shop. The other thing I can't stress enough is how much I couldn't do it without Chris being here. Chris being here was absolutely essential, and so thank you, Chris.
welcome.
Everyone appreciated you, especially me. So. All right, Wednesday, moving forward. Continue, ready?
Yep.
So Wednesday we had Matt's world famous truss rod lecture. We had we all did inlay. We fretboard radius, side dots, pressing in frets. We had Mike Learn came out and did a lunch and learn lecture. We did. On Tuesday we put on the color coats.
Oh yeah. Let's
Let's back up. Tuesday we did color coats. Wednesday we put the initial protective coat on. We did many of those.
Yep.
We went to lunch and had a lecture with Mike Learn. We're gonna touch on all this stuff. We did after lunch. We did neck shaping, rough neck sanding, finish neck sanding, cleanup, and after action discussion. Wednesday was a long, long day. There
It
was
was-
no cleanup and no after action discussion.
From
It
the
was just
moment-
like throw in the towel, have it be
and we
done.
started early that day.
Yes.
I think we started early every day after this, but
Yeah.
but Wednesday we started early. What do you want to talk about first? Let's talk about.
Let's
the
talk about
finish.
color cotes
Yeah.
on Tuesday. We'll skip.
Yeah,
We'll go back
we'll-
and then we'll jump
yeah,
ahead.
Yeah.
So Chris and I came. You have to remember this is a build your own guitar class. It's not a finishing class.
It's
So
build your own guitar class in 40 hours
in,
too.
in 5
Including-
days,
including
guys.
lunch.
Yeah, yeah. So there were some questions about did you spray paint? No, we did not spray paint. But if you saw the pictures online, everybody got to pick the color of the guitar that they wanted. We used trans tint dyes, and so like Tom did sort of an amber color on the swamp ash. Daryl did a blood red color. Everybody got to mix their own colors. And Alec did a really heavy duty blue.
And lots of comments on that blue was awesome. That
That
blue
was a cool blue,
rad.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was electric. I didn't realize you can mix dye that bright.
It was water-based?
Alex, these were aniline dyes that were mixed with isopropyl
Alcohol.
rubbing alcohol, and then had a wipe-on finish put on top of that. And guys, that blue was a very, very basic finish. Again, this wasn't a finishing class. We could have spent 40 hours just doing nothing but spraying paint.
One day Chris will head up that.
And
class.
yeah, one day we might actually do that. But this was not that time. So, and there was no extra time. It was like, oh, I really wish we would have got to do neck through. No, there was no extra time. So everybody got to pick their color. We used trans tint dye mixed with alcohol, and it was just wiped on directly onto the wood.
And it
And we-
came out like the durable thin finish.
Exactly.
Surprisingly.
That's exactly how we do the durable
Yeah.
thin
And
finish.
we spent some time mixing colors. We had a bunch
Yeah.
of cups and you'd pour some colors in and people would wipe it on some scrap wood from.
You said it was like the
from
Wild
cup-
West of color mixing.
Well, yeah, it was like, what color do you want? Well, here, try that. What do you?
Yeah.
No, that's terrible. Here, try this. All right. And yeah, and everybody got a color that they wanted, and yeah, and that was really fun.
All of these people who were like, did you spray any paint? I challenge you. I double dare you to come out here and have a bunch of extra time to spray paint because there won't be any. But anyway,
and part of the problem was we weren't sure about the weather because November in Colorado can
Yeah.
be hit or miss. As it turned out, it was nice enough outside that if we
Eventually,
wanted to,
it was
yeah, it
19
was
on
terrible.
Monday and,
Right.
like,
It was
70
terrible
on
on Monday,
Friday,
but
yeah.
but the rest of the week was okay. We could have maybe done some like aerosol can kind of stuff outside if we wanted to, but it's not a finishing class; it's a guitar building class.
Yeah.
But we had to put something on them.
and we
And we
didn't
wanted
want
something to be-
Yeah, we didn't want everyone's guitar to look the same because if we just did oil finish on everything, even though the shapes were all radically different, they'd all look the same, just like the
Yeah.
guitars
And they
that.
could have put oil finish if they wanted to.
Sure, yeah.
We didn't really give them the opportunity to,
But they could have.
do that.
Well, yeah, but when I was at Roberto Van in the '80s, everything was brown, and everybody like had to make their own design,
Yeah.
and they were all different, but they were all the same brown because we all used the same wood, and we sprayed. I think we used lacquer back then, but yeah, it was lots and lots and lots of lacquer coats, except for on the acoustics had an oil finish, a tongue oil finish.
So we used Minwax water-based polyurethane in a satin finish, in
Yeah.
a satin sheen for our finish coat. We did 4 coats of that. We did 3 coats with a brush, and we'd scuff them back in between each coat
Yep.
with Scotch-Brite. And then the final one we did, once we got enough of a build, we did a light sand on the top and back, Scotch-Brited the sides, and then we wiped on the final version to try and make it as smooth as we could. And
Yeah.
they turned out pretty darn smooth.
I thought it turned
was
out
pretty
excellent.
happy with
Yep.
it. Because
Yep.
not that we didn't spend that much time finishing. It wasn't like hours and hours and hours.
No.
It was always like, okay, scuff them back, give them another coat.
Yeah.
We should be done in 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a good thing too because we had a lot of stuff to do. So Wednesday started off with the guys put a layer of protective coating on their guitars, and then they had to sit through my ridiculous truss rod lecture for that. I condensed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the 45 minute. I think it was 39 and a half minutes. It was
That's
long.
the third time I've sat through that in the last 3 weeks.
It's. I am a truss rod geek.
And I learned something every single time.
Do you?
Yeah, because I don't listen.
Oh, okay. Daryl was falling
I
asleep.
tune in at
during the-
different
he's-
points.
I looked up and Daryl's like,
Was he?
yeah, oh yeah. So he's falling asleep during the truss rod lecture.
He doesn't care about truss rods.
So the first like actual hands-on thing they did on Wednesday was their inlay, and we used wood inlay, and the guys laid out their stuff. Some guys did like one side, some guys did down the middle, and inlay worked great. Oh,
Yeah.
did I tell you guys on the first day they actually did? What was the day one was like headstock tuner holes they did too. Jeez,
Oh, yeah.
there's so much stuff that didn't make it onto here. So then Chris did a lecture on what a fretboard radius is. They all went over to our Grizzly fretboard radius sander and put their own radius on the necks. Then we went to and did side dots. And the reason we wait to do side dots is because if you put a radius on and you go a little deep with the radius and you go through to the side dot, then you have side dots and face dots, and that's tacky. Then everyone did fretting. They radiused their fret wire, they pressed it in with the arbor press, they trimmed it out, they cleaned it up, and then we went to lunch and we had lunch and learn with Mike Learn, which was awesome. Mike told us all sorts of great, war stories with Mike Learn about, like what it's like to work with Grover Jackson and BC Rich and Fender and D'Angelico and who else has Mike worked with? Everybody. Bob Benedetto, Mike actually worked with. Did you know that? That Mike actually
heard
worked
that
with
he
Bob
took-
Benedetto?
I
Yeah.
heard that he took classes from Bob Benedetto.
So Mike was super cool, as Mike is wont to be, and everybody really enjoyed getting
Yeah.
to meet Mike Learn. So after lunch with Mike Learn, we went right at it with into neck shaping, and that was the one area where
This is gonna answer a question,
Okay.
or of several, what's the biggest frustrations or mistakes that were made?
there's a couple things
Yeah.
that we got out of sync, but yeah, neck shaping was one that was assholes and elbows. We went for it on neck shaping, and we just kind of ran out of time in some of that, so we had to bleed over into the next day.
Yep.
What was your assessment of Wednesday? That was definitely the hardest.
It was the hardest day. We were a tick behind when we started the day, and it was a little bit more than we anticipated it to be. So
Yeah.
So we ended up
Yeah.
having to make some moves.
I don't think it's gonna do it. I think it's gonna fuck us up. Oh, it looks like we might have been able to reconnect. Matt had yeah, he didn't think we were gonna be able to reconnect.
There you go, we're back up.
So
So while Matt went to go pee,
yeah.
there was a
Oh,
question.
bam.
Well, there was a question earlier about was Texas Toast Tattoo included with the inaugural class, and apparently people don't know about the brand that's always
Yeah,
available
yeah,
to anyone who
yeah.
walks in the door, whether they're willing or not.
We did
honestly,
offer to brand everybody with the Texas Toast
Where's the
brand. Well, I think let's see if we can find a neck with it on there. Maybe not. We did offer it. Nobody took us up on that. I don't know why. It's pretty small.
It is pretty
It
small.
only hurts for a minute.
Brett's been branded like 4 or 5 times accidentally.
Yeah, he's bumped into it. Yeah, the big soldering iron too. Also, nobody burned themselves when we were soldering. So, yeah, apparently Brett's even watching. Brett Hagan. Oh, the brand.
Oh my God, Brett is
Watch
watching.
it, Brett. Yeah, so so nobody got hurt, but Daryl, who did his guitar in red.
Oh, everyone looked like they had blood on
Yeah,
them
he had a little
somewhere.
bit of red on his fingers the next day, and he had a little bit of red on his wrist or something like that. And every time I saw him, I thought that he'd cut himself.
yeah.
And I asked him like 2 or 3 times. I was like,
I did too.
"That's
I'm like,
the
oh my
other
God,
thing,
what happened
right?"
to your
Yeah.
knuckle? Yeah.
So from now on, if you want a red guitar, it's extra. You have to pay extra at the class for a red guitar.
Brett's watching.
So,
Brett Hagan?
Yeah.
uh huh.
Are we going?
We are,
Yeah.
yeah. We were able to
Things are
reconnect
happening.
and not
Oh, cool.
restart.
Somebody
and-
asked about a Texas Toast tattoo, and so we started talking about the brand.
Oh, that'd be so fun to have a Texas Toast. I would go get one with you
Well,
guys.
there's a
if you
brand.
want. Sorry, I had to go pee pee.
How was your stream?
Good.
That's a question you're going to start getting asked a lot as you reach
As
this
I
age.
age, yeah. So everybody,
Did you make?
yeah, I did. So one of my dear good friends, Brett Hagen, is watching, and he plays guitar in Hawk Attack.
And performs the Sarzo test on pretty much all
And
the
performs.
guitars.
That's right. He is a Texas Toast endorsed
Quality
player.
control.
It's great to have. Brett's a busy guy. He can be fiddle farting around watching this stuff all the time live. So yeah, it's cool to have Brett.
Yep.
So did you just like have to make a new one or what?
I pushed the button that said reconnect and it reconnected. So I think we're solid. All our chat stuff
going
stayed
on,
and
everything's
everything.
cool.
So
Happy Meal.
yeah,
Okay,
I think
cool.
We'll have a little interruption.
Maybe I just
but
need to finger the
not all that
pad
big.
every once in a while.
Well, sorry that
can
that
watch
that
it and
happened,
see
you
it,
guys.
so-
And sorry I had to go pee.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of a long one because we're only at day 3 and we're.
Well,
Yeah.
let's get going.
All right, so
And
Thursday.
then everything else went great. The end.
That's right. So thanks for watching. No, okay. So Thursday, we have pre-assembly, test fitting. That's basically the same thing. Control cavity covers, nut cutting and slotting, fret leveling, fret dressing, fret buffing, cleanup and after action discussion. We had a bit of a snag because
This I think is your biggest one.
one of my biggest issues of like, oh crap, I got this in the mixed up order. The guys started to put oil finishes on their necks, and the oil finish just wouldn't dry quick enough for tape to adhere for fret leveling. So the guys did, part of fret leveling and fret dressing is you mask everything off so that you don't get a bunch of crap and crud into your fretboard, of filing and shit like that. Filings, I believe is the term. So so we were like, well, let's move forward and we'll come back and we'll do fret leveling and dressing on Friday. And so we actually jumped ahead to an electronics discussion, electronics lecture, soldering and assembly. We pre-assembled a bunch of stuff on Thursday. And then as it turned out, we kind of adapted, improvised, and overcome and figured out a way to do tape on the fretboards. So we completely caught up on Thursday, and we actually got a little bitty bit ahead on Thursday,
Yeah.
which wasn't a bad thing because by the time it was all said and done, it was like 5:45 on Friday, and everyone's like, "Woo, we're done!" So yeah, it wasn't a bad thing to. Yeah.
I think Thursday, by the end of the day Thursday, I was finally sure that we could get everything done in the time we gave ourselves. I was pretty sure as we went along, but I thought, up until the end, we won't quite know. But by the end of the day Thursday, I was like, we got this. It's going to work out really well.
That's the thing. Chris and I were pretty confident that if we followed the rules, the list, we could get it all done, but we didn't know.
No.
And so kudos to everybody who had faith in us enough to spend money and come out to the class, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was no binding on this class, roundovers only. It was
Yeah.
not enough time for all that shit.
we have so
Did
let's
somebody ask about binding?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna
Yeah.
let's. Can you remember, Mrs. Toast, to come back to that because I've got something I want to say on that. But let's burn through Friday, where we did neck ferrules, neck screws, bridge ground, assembly. We sorted out all the rest of the electronics, setup, testing, pictures, and graduation. And everybody
Which doesn't
got.
sound like a lot, but it's a lot.
I totally missed the commencement of the inaugural.
You did well. It was.
But
it
I
was,
came
you were-
afterward, and I
yeah.
was a striper.
Everybody got a certificate with with their name, and Chris and I signed it. And I don't know if anyone.
Matt
thought
walked
that was
around
cool.
and handed it to him and said,
Here's
now
your
clean
shit.
up.
Yeah.
Did you play Pomp and Circumstance
Clean up
while
your
they
shit.
cleaned?
No.
Well, actually, we did Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies. You know what I can't wait for, Chris? Is like when we do this live thing right around New Year's. I kind of want to like get one of those like that like pokes out and like you sit there and go like this, and I like do the like poke. Would you do
Like
that?
this.
Like if we planned it enough in
Yeah.
advance where you knew it was coming, and just sat there and you're like, because that'd be so fucking funny.
You know what'd be funny? When he eventually turns around and fucking socks you in the freaking chops.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah,
great.
that would be hilarious. I'll fall off my
That
chair
will be
laughing.
great.
Punchy Fesker would be your
Yeah,
new name.
Yeah.
So, gosh, guy, there's so much crap to do in 5 days, and that's. I talked to my friend Jeff LaQuatra, who is a music teacher at CSU, and has a handful of lecture classes that he's actually let me come and teach a few of them. History of the electric guitar is my thing that I do when I go up there for the day. And he said, maybe you should have a couple different classes. Like one like this could be one for guys who have a little bit of tool experience. And then maybe you could have one that was mostly like body stuff, and you could do binding, and you just make the body, but you get a neck, and then you get to, that kind of thing. So we learned so much. I know I did. One was I had no fucking idea how exhausted I was going to be after 5 days of doing this shit.
I didn't either, and I wasn't even aware that I was putting out as much as I apparently was.
It's hard being on, like,
Yeah,
full
it's
on.
you and I
yeah,
were-
and it's not even. It's being on, but it's not being fake or it's just
No.
but
it's
you're
being
on.
attentive
Yeah.
and not that I'm not always attentive, but it was it was
Watching
it
someone
was-
else use tools is really stressful.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
I even talked to them about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, because you use the pin router, and I was like, what do you think? And they're like, yeah, I think I'm okay with it. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, it's easier to do it than it is to watch it,
Yeah.
And they did it, and then I'd ask them, how was it? Oh, you were right. It was easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
'Cause the-
does it.
The reason that the pin router is safer is you can take a 1-inch cut, or you can take a 30-second cut. I don't advise you take a 1-inch cut or a 30-second cut, but you can do it. And yeah, it's a remarkable tool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mark,
how many layers of wood is too much wood
For a body.
for a?
So that's why I got the, no, we're
Oh.
not there yet. So that's why I grabbed the plywood one.
okay, are we back on? Somebody give me a yes.
One moment, please.
I think we're back on.
Back again. Yep, we're good.
Sorry, this is happening, y'all.
So
We don't
what
know
was I
what's
talking
going
about?
You were
Talking
talking. I don't know.
Yeah.
You were talking
Oh,
about
electronics
electronics
class.
class.
Oh, yeah. So if you were here for the electronics portion, you might not want me to do an electronics class. I can show you where to solder. I can teach you how to solder. I can't tell you why you're doing any of that.
You know what
stuff.
though? Alec was saying one of the things that we asked everybody, what's your first project when you get back to where you're gonna do this stuff?
Yeah.
And Alec was, I want to change some pickups and some
Okay.
guitars.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. A lot of this, so much of this, I realized is a whole separate class.
Mm-hmm.
The last day we did a lot of setup. There's not enough time to give everybody everything you need to know about setups.
But everybody
Same
filed
with
their nut
paint,
slot
same
with the
yeah.
using the little gauge and getting it within 20 thousandths from the bottom of the fret slot to the top of the.
Yeah.
The guys did so much work.
Yeah.
By Friday they were just frazzled. But we offer a full setup class too.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah. And this
one-day
was,
class.
kind of the first step in your introduction or your knowledge to setup and your knowledge to paint and your knowledge
Yeah.
to all of this stuff.
Just some of the how do you lay out a headstock so where the strings come off straight? How do you lay out a body to work with the hardware that you have?
Yeah, yeah. There was
Daryl was
Yeah.
like, well, I want to make this thing, but I don't have the bridge yet. Well, then don't do anything until you get the
have the
bridge.
bridge.
Yeah.
yeah, you
Really
got to know all
important
your
concept,
parts,
yeah.
and you got to see.
Where's your center line? If you don't know where that is, you're gonna be bummed out because you're gonna refer to that a lot. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and and I think it went really great
Mm-hmm.
and better than it should have in a lot of ways.
I agree completely.
And
We
I
talked
think
about what would happen if we just ended up making 3 guitars over the course of the 5 days. We were prepared to do that, but nobody who came to the class, obviously nobody wanted that, and we didn't have to do that. Everybody soldiered through, and if anybody hit any snags, I think they felt good about it when they left, or they felt good about it when they came in the next day. You know, nobody quit. Everybody kicked ass. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was, and I think everybody got something really cool when they were done.
They sounded good even when they weren't plugged in. I can
Yeah.
still hear them.
Listen,
Listen.
off in the distance.
So
Yeah,
the
and-
other thing was everybody got to use hip shot bridges and hip shot tuners, which to my mind's ear, is we had some pretty nice hardware. We had really great neck. We had great bodywood from Dan at GWE. We had awesome truss rods from John and Cheryl at Bitterroot. We had killer bridges and tuners from Hipshot, and you know, like the other parts, like we didn't, like, not people didn't get like Seymour Duncans. You know what I mean? We could do a class where you got Seymour Duncans, but it would be more money.
Yeah, well, maybe that's something that we offer. Is,
Sure.
You know,
if you want to upgrade,
here's
you
the
can.
price, but if you want, hoochie pickups,
Yeah.
it's going to be this much
Yeah.
or
So-
whatever.
You
Mrs.
could bring your own pickups.
Yeah.
Well, you could.
What strings?
What string? Somebody asked that.
That's a very important question. We totally cheaped out on the strings. We used garbage
We
for
used
strings.
Diodario
No, we
strings.
used- we
Who
used
asked?
fine
Somebody
strings.
actually
It's a
asked.
joke.
Oh, okay. Come on. What strings? What? What?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know where we cheaped out?
Strap buttons.
Exactly. Yep.
I actually had to overnight some.
Ferrules.
Some neck ferrules. So there's a couple things that happened hardware wise. Everybody got a neck plate and neck screws, but to the guy, nobody's body design worked with a neck plate.
Yeah.
So I had to overnight a bunch of neck mounting screw ferrules because I only had 7 in stock.
Which isn't enough.
It's not enough for 3 guys.
By 5.
Yeah, and then the humbucker adjustment screws weren't long enough, so Friday at like, oh bless you, Mrs. Toast,
Let's all settle down.
all of us settle down.
All right. So,
It's going. I have to do this because
You're
there's
back. Good. Somebody said I like your shirt. I think they're talking to you.
Yeah, I think they are. It's
no, I think we're
brown.
talking to you. No, maybe me. Maybe they like my shirt.
Maybe.
Somebody once asked me, this is when I knew I was truly old,
yeah.
which I've known for a long time, and they shouldn't have told me that. They asked, is that Buddy Holly or Roy Orbison?
I thought they said, "Is that the guy from Weezer?"
Yeah, I can see that.
That would have made me feel slightly better, maybe.
I think it's
don't know.
cool either way. Yes, ma'am.
It's almost time to start wrapping things up. So I'd like to put a button on there. Chris, you got something you want?
No?
Okay. So, again, talking about when's the next class, how much does
Okay.
it cost? Plus, someone said you ought to sell them kits. So put that all in a big.
Yes. Okay. So as far as kits, we are more than happy to sell you guys.
Custom kit.
Yeah, well, there would be what we would call student kits, which would get you a body blank, a neck blank that has fret slots cut, and a truss rod, but that's it. You do everything else, which would be, if you could pull that off, you'd be as cool as everybody who came to the class. And a hardware package, Hipshot and Bitterroot and shit like that. If anyone's interested in that, please send me an email, and I will be more than happy to make that happen for you. Do you even want to do another one?
Yeah, I'd like to do another one.
Dude, I was fucking beat after like doing one. I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do another one.
I kind of caught my second wind Thursday and for sure Friday. You know, because as you know,
Yeah.
the closer we get to a finished project, the
Yeah.
more I'm into it.
As
So-
you know, day 1 and 2 were great for me, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Well, it's
all I
hump
could
day.
see was the long slog
Yeah.
ahead
Yeah.
on those
And
2 days.
You guys really tweaked out like 3 major places
We
where
totally
you can make
tweaked.
it go.
Yeah.
We'll get Brett in here and we'll totally tweak.
So Jeff LaQuatra came yesterday, and it was good because he's a teacher on the collegiate level, and I'm like, Jeff, does it get any easier?
What did he say?
He said, well, the legwork's all done.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at least you know what to expect.
Exactly.
You know how to.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
But man, I got to tell you guys, Friday when it was all said and done, I was happy, and everybody was happy, and we were having a good time. And by the way, if you watch the live stream, I'm sorry that there was some audio shit that happened, but you're just gonna have to fucking get over it. Shit happens, you know. It's not like I'm not a fucking Anyway,
I think people think that this is like, and maybe it's a credit to us, way more professional than it is.
Yeah.
Well, you
You
used to
know,
have one of those like Anchorman mics.
We have
we
lapel
plug shit
mics,
into my
yeah.
iPhone and we go for it, you know,
Yeah.
and we can't really tell what's going on. We certainly can't hear anything.
No.
So
No.
I apologize for that. I think the jack hole was dirty, so I
Jack
cleaned out
hole.
my jack hole.
Jackhole,
Yeah.
weenie roller.
And
Hey, someone is that Joseph Caswell?
I think we're better. So yeah, and we don't have internet service here yet. So everything
No.
we do is
Everything that happens at the shop costs money. Okay.
yeah. Who wants to pay for a year's worth of internet?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Don't Andrew St. Pierre will do it.
No,
Don't,
we don't want
do
Andrew.
that. Yeah.
Somebody other than Andrew
Somebody
St.
other than
Pierre.
Andrew St.
Don't
Pierre
call
did.
him by his name.
I'm sorry.
the Saint.
Someone Andy the Saint.
He
Yeah,
likes
yeah,
to
yeah.
remain anonymous.
He does.
He really does.
We're not looking for a handout, but
No.
everything costs money, and it's like, well,
And we'll get there. And for now, this works really well.
Yeah.
We have a few snafus, but you know, stuff happens. And yeah, we've seen today. We drop out every once in a while.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
I don't like it any more than you do. But
Ooh,
thanks
we got
everybody for
welcome
watching.
to the real world.
What does that mean?
Welcome.
About how internet costs money.
Okay, internet costs money in the real
Easy to
world.
say when you just punch in and out of a job and get paid no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on Friday, I was glad it was all done. I was happy that everybody, but I was like, I don't know if I want to do another one.
Yeah,
You
I think
know?
I would really like to do another one. One of the things that you know, it's kind of like singing karaoke. The first time you do it,
Yeah.
it's wild, it's crazy, you really enjoy it, and the second time you think, oh, this is gonna be this will be even better. But I keep thinking, we got really really lucky with the 3 people that we got.
We did. We had an excellent
And, yeah.
cadre of students.
Yeah, and we had 3 very very different people.
Yeah.
Which was fun because it was fun to kind of
I loved having-
contour your.
I loved having
your
those guys
teaching
come and
towards
hang
each
out
guy
at the shop, yeah.
and it was fun to watch, you know, what they were into and what they could
Yeah.
care less about. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there were times where you're like, okay, that's fine. I don't care, and there were other things where it was like, okay. All right, you know, I gotta
Yeah,
get
some
it.
things they would
Gotta
like
get
totally
this right.
geek out and OCD out about. Yeah.
And each guy had different things that they OCD'd about, and each guy mentioned, "Oh, I'm going to get very, very OCD about this
Yeah.
right now."
Yeah.
And then there were other things. Yeah.
They all knew. They all
like
got
fret
that.
markers. I don't care.
But you know what? Oh, so fret markers and side dots were like a no-brainer. Everybody kicked ass on that.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things that. Yeah.
Actually, so pin routing, everybody kicked ass on. Radiusing, everybody kicked ass
Yeah,
on.
and we coulda gotten
Fretwork,
them
everybody.
going
Yeah. Actually,
earlier
everything.
on
Yeah, I
pin
mean,
router.
there were a handful of things that went wrong.
Well, there's a
and
handful
we
of things
fixed them.
that's
and, yeah,
well, and there's
you
a
know.
handful of things that are even honestly still, you know, somewhat tricky for us.
Sure.
If we're not paying attention, and we're giving these people the tool for the first time, and we're
Yeah.
expecting the results that
Ready,
we get.
go. Yeah.
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 And really, everybody got the results that we get.
Yeah.
on all
Everybody,
the tools,
everybody
which
had a
was neat.
blast.
Yeah.
And it was great to have people come out and just, you know, hang out in the shop for 5 days. That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
You don't realize how big of a commitment it is until you're here for 5 days, guys.
Yeah.
So, as far as the next one, obviously there's not going to be one in November.
No.
I think December is probably
No,
taken up with
it's
holidays.
too busy. and People
Yep.
are broke.
We get a lot of Christmas parties. that
Oh,
I'm
did
gonna
you
go
discuss
to
the
this
cost
year.
of the class?
Oh, well, we're getting to that.
Okay.
January, I think let's go ahead and let everybody kind of get back into the groove.
Sticker shock of the credit card bills.
Yep, from Christmas. And I think we're going to have our next class will be in February. Sound good to everybody?
Is this a leap year?
Yes, it is. 2020 is leap year.
Could we get one of the days to be on that
Sure.
final leap?
Why
But
the hell
that
not?
doesn't make the week longer. It just makes the year longer.
Well, the next class will be in February of 2020. We're going to change a handful of things. One of those things we're going to change is the hours of the class. Since everyone's here at 9:30 anyway, we're just going to go ahead and start at 9:30 and go to 6, okay? Price of the course is $1,500, and that includes everything you need to make a guitar. You walk out of here with something really cool. And what else? What were the other questions about classes?
You discussed the kits. There's kits and classes and.
Oh, we had 3 people at the inaugural class. 4 is
Is
the
the max.
maximum that we can do right now. If by some chance 8 people want to do the class, we will add another class, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, if you are interested in doing a class, please let me know. We are more than happy to make. Like I say, February is when the next one's going to be. I will update the website in the next few days with the next date.
What's dude's name? D Diddle is very anxious to know when it's going.
Okay, so yeah, so check back with me and check the website. Say in the next 48 hours there'll be the next Build Your Own Guitar Workshop class. I want to talk about some other website thing real quick, which is our amazing
Black Friday.
Black Friday sale. Chris and Mrs. Toast don't know this yet, but our Black Friday sale is every single thing we have 50% off. That didn't-
50%?
That didn't blow
Have
anybody
you gone
away.
crazy?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
so
crazy,
if
Eddie?
there's a guitar that you have been kind of waiting for one day and one day only, I'm willing to sell that to you for half of what it is on the website right now. So go and look on the website. Now, couple of caveats. Doesn't include shipping, and it doesn't include a case. And you gotta have a case to ship it, because you all know what happens if you ship it without a case.
Well,
you can come
that-
here and get it if you want, but yeah.
It was packed perfectly.
I know,
There was a
I know,
fork
I
on the
know.
end, and there was even a boot print on
I
it.
know, yeah. So guitars, bodies, t-shirts, everything is half off on the day after Thanksgiving. Is that okay?
Sounds good to me.
I already said it, so I hope so.
Someone says you're not charging enough.
Who's that?
Jim Ford, I think it was. Yeah,
Jim, I'd be
Ford.
happy to charge you 3 or 4 times more
If
than
you
that.
want to pay
Yeah.
more, that's great. Yeah, yeah. Joseph Caswell thinks he's funny and thinks this is Gary Busey.
he is.
He is funny.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he is funny, but yeah, and that is funny. Yeah.
Hold on.
And Andrew St. Pierre says we look like hell, and that he's having an allergic reaction to mahogany, but he looks better than we do.
You know what? If you're
Tough,
having an allergic
man.
reaction to mohawk, that's a bad day. I know, because I've had.
You react
one.
to rosewood.
Rosewood. Everybody does. Andrew, you know what? We need to get Andy the Saint to come out here. That's okay. That's all we get.
We
Do we
do
get
need him
title?
to come out here and be part of the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Jim Fuller wants to come out and take a class. Guys, the next. I know I said we don't want to do it. I was like, I don't know if I want to do another one, but man, it was.
He wants
I
to
was
do it.
fucking
He
exhausted.
really says he's coming out.
Hold on,
See
wait.
if we connect.
Let's see if we connect.
Damn. Yeah, we're back up. Yes, things are happening.
Are we?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not working there.
Well, I can
It's
see
working.
it. Dude, I'm
There
telling
we
Andy
you.
the
go.
Saint says
All
he's
right.
coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's not a Marshall Crenshaw shirt either. It's Buddy Holly.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
We're getting punchy.
Before we get kicked off the
Yeah, we're already getting kicked off. Clearly, the people
Yeah.
at Gibson don't want us to do this
Yeah,
this
collusion.
live stream. So, what time is it?
6:10.
All right. So, everybody, guys, thanks so much for all the birthday wishes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with the disconnecty, bullshitty shit.
I think Mercury's in retrograde.
Fucking Mercury retrograde shit. Thanks to Mrs. Toast for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. Thanks to Chris for putting up with my shit for God, as long as you put up with it.
You're welcome.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
I don't know how you put up with me either.
We tell a lot of dick and fart jokes when you guys
Talking
aren't
about
watching.
underwear all week.
Hey, that's right. You told a lot of underwear
A
jokes.
lot of underwear stories.
So, guys, this is Matt at Texas Toast, and if you so let me go through the whole thing here. I'm really really tired. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. If you appreciate content like this, you might want to go over to our Patreon page and consider becoming a member, because even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you cool stuff like this. If you sent me an email about your Patreon shirt, I have been super busy the last week and I haven't been able to get back to you. I will get back to you. If you've requested a 3X or larger shirt, you gotta give me some time. If you can't do Patreon, we totally get it. Please share these videos as many places as you can. Help us spread the word and grow the channel and grow the business too. We're not exactly making a ton of money here, but we're having a hell of a lot of fun, right, Chris?
Yep.
Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, build it yourself. That's what I do. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Weenie roller.
Look at my thumb. Hey, Terry, you can see my nose hairs.